the energy that runs to you and through you at all times does not resonate the energy of fear, of doubt, of anxiety, of depression. This energy is the energy of creation. Indeed, many have commented before the unawareness that each of you has the power of creation, as all that is does, and that each of you has been supplied with the energy that allows each of you to do so. So I began explaining that although the term inner being came about, I refer to that as your soul. The inner being is actually not inside of you. It is not anything that is inner at all. It is you. And then I explained that the way that you could understand this is to understand that when you look in the mirror, you see your reflection. You see your hair and your skin and your hands and your feet and your body. You are actually looking at what you call your inner being, for your inner being has come into this physical form and has chosen this particular visual appearance with which it wanted to be viewed by the world. It chose this physical being, this body that you occupy, that is you, through it, and it wanted to view the world through the lens of the perspective of the experiences that you as an individual have had here. And so understanding that, if you can then understand that when you look in the mirror, you are actually looking at your inner being. And that inner being is in possession of the ability to create worlds, planets, universes. But for this purpose, you are able to create the reality and the physical experience that you are here to create, which means each one of you is God. And so if you can look in the mirror and understand you are looking at the face of God, then you can understand that looking at each other on this Zoom platform, as you look at each other's faces, you are, each of you, looking into the faces of God and its expression here, its unconditionalism here. And so I wanted to review this because it's very important that you be able to keep in your perspective what I am about to say about your creative power that you can wield here through the perspective of fearlessness. And so we spent the last 2 sessions reviewing the important steps of first facing your fear, energetically understanding that the cognitive process, the verbal process, the written process of acknowledging your fear or fears is what allows the momentum of the energy of the fear to stop. And we reviewed the critical need to stop the momentum of the energy that has been resonating through each of you for most of your lives on one level or another. And why was it important to stop the momentum of the energy of fear and worry and doubt and anxiety? And I have said before, because it created a space. The stopping of the momentum of that energy created a space for another energy to take hold within your neuronal process, your cognitive process, but also within the body's ability to vibrate the energy that would replace fear. But that the first step was to cease the momentum of that energy. I then explained that after you cease the momentum of that energy, you've now created that vibrational space within you. Then you have an opportunity, after you face your fear, to then examine your intention. We discussed the steps in overcoming fear. We discussed that you had to set your intention, and that your intention should be towards the more in life that you are seeking. As Abraham has said before, you did not come here to settle for the, what Abraham calls puny existence, reality that you carved out for yourself. You came because you knew you were going to want the more, and you were going to want to be able to experience that more here in physical form. I have explained it in the past as this: you came to become the master manipulator of the energy from non-physical and translating it into a physical reality. Indeed, I have explained before that there are places after you transition out of this body, dimensions that you are going to want to continue to grow and evolve from, that you will not be able to enter. You will not have the capacity to enter until you have mastered the ability to flow energy deliberately and purposefully from the non-physical into the physical. And that is what it means to create, to a thought from a thing. A thought is non-physical, although it has power and it has energy. But you want to manifest that thought by translating that power purposefully and deliberately into a career, a relationship, a car, a house, a vacation, whatever it is that you want to manifest into this reality that your five senses can then pick up and understand has arrived in this three-dimensional space that you now occupy. And so when I go into this next conversation of how to use this power, it assumes that, one, you have accepted the belief that you are an unlimited eternal being by virtue of this energy connection that you have to all that is, which makes you in fact a god, the ability to create using the same power here in this dimension, in this time-space reality. It also presumes that you understand that in your eternalness, the typical things that you fear, like death and the validation, which I have discussed before, the need for validation from others, and the many other levels of fear that often attack your minds, which are based on naturally the life experiences that you have had here. So, but you also knew that you would have those experiences, and you knew that you were going to use those experiences to pivot your understanding, to awaken, and use the power that has been within you from the moment you stepped into this physical reality, from your birth, you see. And so it presumes that you understand that you do believe that you are eternal, that this has not been your first physical experience, nor will it be your last, unless you choose so. And so then the idea of the typical fears of death, which have a much broader scope than one would think, for the fear of death does not just touch upon the topic of death. Rather, the fear of death itself bleeds into the other areas of rightness and wrongness, the other areas in your life where you have the morality of goodness and badness. And so, like all of the other fears, they bleed within to the other areas of your aspect of your physical being where even fear may not exist. And so it presumes that, one, you have faced your fears and you have stopped the momentum of that energy. Two, you do believe that you are an unlimited spiritual being having a physical experience with the power of God, of all that is, literally to wield at your fingertips at any time that you wish, and that the mechanism here in this physical reality that you are experiencing is through your thoughts, which is through your beliefs, your belief structures, your belief systems, and the control that you are able to exercise then to be able to examine what those thoughts are, understand where they came from, assign them to their proper place, and decide, make a decision to replace it with a thought that is more reflective of the truth of who and what you really are. And so this conversation presumes that each one of you has moved to the point that you're now ready to understand how to expressively use this power of fearlessness and express it creatively in your reality. When you have, over time, been able to achieve the ability to, one by one, attack your limiting beliefs and replace them with beliefs that reflect your unlimitedness, your eternal beingness, and beliefs that are in harmony with your ultimate powerful condition. Once you have done that, then it's important to understand how you can use this in creating your reality. I have talked about that your expectation becomes very important because, and I discussed that you can have the intention to grow and expand, become that master manipulator of energy. But one of the other net effects of being able to master the flow of your energy here in physical form is that you will also be able to experience the energy of unconditional love, which is the energy of your natural state of grace, at its ultimate levels while you're still in your physical form. And what does that mean? And I have explained before that what this means is we will use what is called the Christ-like consciousness as a description. There was a human that came into his body here and became a great teacher, but understood at all times who and what he really was and what he represented in his reality here. And so the things that you often look back upon and describe as miracles are in fact were only miraculous because the thought process of the Christ figure was so unusual in comparison to the ideas of the time frame in which he was born. But let us focus more on what he could do. For that is where you are going. That is one of the reasons that you are shedding your limiting beliefs, which are the creators of your fears and doubts and anxieties. One of the reasons that you're going through this process, as Abraham says, doing this work, is because ultimately, one of the things that you wanted to experience here in physical form was the ability to what others call miracles. You have heard of the creators who are able to manifest in seconds, manifest in a day. Well, let us look at this other creator who understood the power of each individual's natural state of grace, unconditional love, the energy of that love, and the power of that love. For each one of you has that power, you see. It's the power to heal. It's why he could touch. It's why others could touch him, simply with the belief that it could be, and the healing would be instantaneous. It is the walking on water. It is the defying of gravity. It is Neo in the Matrix, hanging up the phone in the phone booth and then taking off into the air. It is all of those things. The power that resides within you is unlimited. Let me say it a different way. The power that is within you is limitless and is only constrained by your imagination, which is only constrained by your idea of your being unlimited. In other words, if you can conceive it in your mind, you can create that here in your reality. You can. But most often people ascribe these abilities to be supernatural, to be something different. The ability to connect with non-physical is thought to be something unusual. And why is it thought to be that? For your connection to the realm and the energy of non-physical, the support of the energy of non-physical, your guides, your teachers, who all stand ready to assist you with your expansion, with your evolution, are legion. you see. So your connection then to non-physical is not supernatural. It is one of the most natural things that you can experience here in physical form. And so then the idea that unusual abilities, the ability to heal, the ability to intuit for others, the ability to channel, the ability to have that connection in front of others very easily, you see, are only supernatural because the majority of the personalities that are in existence in this time-space reality still do not understand the unlimitedness of their existence, of their being. They still don't understand the unlimitedness of the power of all that is right now radiating through your fingernails. And so I said before in the last session, even with us in non-physical, as we observe you and your physicality, it is amazing to us that you have been given the gift of the gods, you see. And by almost purposeful intention, there is a cleaving to the knownness, the known quality of the fear-based limiting beliefs that you have been taught here in your life experience and that has been affirmed in your own adulthood in your manifestations. And so when teachers and like myself come forward to say, get rid of it, it doesn't serve you, there's almost a anxiety then that occurs in the neuronal process, because we are suggesting something that is unthinkable for each of your identities is tied to the known elements of your existence. And so in effect, we are telling each of you to be comfortable then going into the unknown of your unlimited being, to go into and trust the safety of the power that runs to each of you and through each of you at all times. And so then, presuming that all of you have accomplished these steps, have assimilated these beliefs, how are some of the ways then that is it going to be evident that you are then able to creatively express the power of fearlessness in your physical bodies here in front of everyone? One is you have released the fear of caring what other people think, of your journey, of your path, of your expansion, of your priority to evolve to your highest self, which is going to allow you to feel the power of that love, that energy running through your body. It's going to change your authentic personality, meaning even in non-physical, to be able to cognitively process the energy of how it feels, how it can be wielded in your physical body, what happens in your brain. You have reached a level in this life where every day is joyous. There is love coming at you. You are vibrating such an energy, having achieved the highest version of yourself in physical form, coming at you from all directions in the world. Think every little thought that you've ever wanted or desired starts dropping down. But what are the early stages of your ability to see what happens when you start to become fearless? One, you start to not care what other people think of your path. You understand that that path is your ultimate goal, and what anybody else thinks of it is really none of their business. And vice versa. Your opinion of their paths are also none of yours. In this way, there is freedom for each one of you to be standing in your own paths where you reside, with free from judgment from each other. For, as I have explained to each of you, you are telepathic. This connection to all that is the same power source that connects each of you to each other. So rest assured, if you're having unkind thoughts about someone, they know it at a subconscious level. They understand how you feel about them, and they will respond, and vice versa. Likewise, if you are able to see their unlimitedness and the beauty of their eternalness, because you're able to recognize it first in yourself, they too will pick up those thoughts. And in this way, you become part of the collective consciousness that is elevating the vibration on the planet, that is growing with the elevating vibration of the planet itself, you see. For the planet too has its own vibration and is in process of its own evolution. So one, you lose the concern of caring what other people think. And what does that mean? Well, that creates confidence. That creates a confidence that has its own signature, its own energy signature. You doubt yourself less. Even when faced with the unknown properties, unknown events, when people come into your experience and they represent bringing an unknown experience to you, you're much more confident in how you're going to deal with it. You're more trusting of that relationship that you have with all that is. You will more readily allow yourself to eagerly step into the unknown, understanding that in trusting yourself, in trusting your plan, in trusting your energy with all that is, that everything has always worked out for you, that you always were safe, that there never was anything to worry about. Indeed, when Abraham says, you can't get it wrong, it's not to be used, those words, as some excuse. It's to explain that you can confidently walk into the unknown, because whatever happens is not wrong, you see. There is no wrongness. You are here for the experience. You are here to learn. You are here to become a master. And so if one really understood that, then one would be able to confidently embrace the opportunities that arrived at your door that represent the unknown. You would be willing to embrace the opportunities that all that is provides to you in answer to the wanting of the more that you have asked for years.